once the opportunity arose for him to close the show, he did it in emphatic style.
Whatever he hits falls.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're at Ladbroke Grove here, outside the new Dale Youth Amateur Boxing Club. I'm joined by Tommy Jacobs, Sweet Tea.
Yep.
How are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks, Cougs. Thanks for inviting me down. Nice to see the new Dale Youth gym.
Absolutely. I know we've been meaning to do this for quite some time now. I think it come up on our Facebook memories when the last one was, what was it, from 4 years ago?
The first one was 4 years ago.
First one, yeah.
Obviously, there's been a few since, but yeah, the first one was about 4 years ago. And things have moved on slightly since, in the right direction. Not quite the destination we want to get to yet, though.
Just give us a recap of kind of the highs and highlights and lowlights from that interview, and kind of for people to get a picture of what was going on around that time and just before that.
Right, basically, I got myself in trouble, and I'd come out of Nick, was looking to turn straight away pro. British Boxing Board of Control denied me a licence, so I ended up taking one with what used to be the Motor Boxing Commission, which is now BBA, the British and Irish Boxing Authority. Since then, it's been very hard because I'm sort of fishing in a small pond to get some good fights, and having to bring people from overseas and things like that to get the right fights in. But we've done well. I've won the British Masters, the International Masters, won the WBF European and the WBF International, all at light middleweight. Couple of months ago, boxed for the WBF and the WBU World. And don't get me wrong, I know they're only fringe titles, but still they're a massive stepping stone. And to me, it's exciting. They're the titles that Roy Jones retired with. One of my favourite fighters. So for me, it's fantastic. Completely outboxed the geezer for 8 rounds, giving him an absolute boxing lesson. The fella fell out of the ring and it got declared a no contest. So it has been very bitter ever since, and it's taken a right downturn. Everything's been very sour and gone south from there until I got some news the other day, which has sort of picked things up again.
Right, we'll come on to that in just a second. So you were denied a licence from the British Board.
Yeah.
And that was, in what year was that, rather?
That would have been, I'm pretty sure that was 2015 we was denied.
And did they give you a specific reason to why it was denied?
Their reasoning, I believe it was done through Steve Goodwin, and basically what they turned around and said was, keep your nose clean, go and box on a different licence, come back in a couple of years and we'll grant you a licence. So we tried again a couple of years later with Carl Greaves, and allegedly they turned around and said no, they don't do anyone who's on probation or whatever. So that was their reasoning for it, and it's frustrating because as far as I know, it's not actually one of their rules. It's down to their actual discretion. I know when I first put it in, it went to the southern area, of course, and then got forwarded on to Robert Smith, who turned around and said it's down to their decision. The southern area said no, but they are the only sporting body in the whole world that have that standpoint. And that's not just boxing, that's across any sport. So I mean, if you're a footballer and you've been to prison, no problem, play next week, it's not an issue. It is really frustrating, but I've had to try and make the best of a bad situation. And because of that, I've ended up having to get my manager's licence, my promoter's licence, so I manage myself, I promote my own shows, I manage some good fighters as well. And my whole career is in my own hands. And it's hard work, it's very hard work. And yeah, but we're going to move on.
So the second time you were kind of given the feeling that you wouldn't be granted a licence, like 2 years on, were you given any indication at that point, maybe in a couple of years' time, to try back again?
Basically, this was done. My trainer got in contact with Carl Greaves. My trainer I'm not with anymore, unfortunately, and Carl Greaves just said, look, it's not going to happen until you come off licence. So I've only got about a year left on that. So as soon as that's done, the Board of Control can't stop me from getting a licence regardless anyway. but it's just frustrating when I'm seeing all my former amateur teammates reaching massive heights, and I'm still having to box on my own shows just to get by and try and push myself into the rankings.
Tell us, obviously I know, but tell us a few people you used to box with, Tommy.
Well, when I see you at the O2 the other week, I bumped into George Groves, who's one of my sparring partners, obviously very reminiscent here because he was Dale Youth boxer, Amir Khan, Billy Joe Saunders, all the boys that have won world titles and are now millionaires was all on the England team with me. Used to be sparring partners. Billy Joe got me in 18 months, 2 years ago as a sparring partner for one of his world title defences, and I know I can mix it at the highest of levels. When I train properly and I have a proper sparring camp and all that, I will mix it at the highest of levels, and I will not disgrace myself, and I know that, and it's just giving me the opportunity to prove it.
So currently you're fighting on a Bieber licence, correct?
Yeah.
So once you're off licence, as in
probation, basically,
you will then reapply for your licence again, and you don't see a reason why you won't get it with the British Boxing Board.
Well, yeah, as far as I've been told by anyone connected to him, it is a case of if you're not on any sort of judicial agreement or any court order or anything like that, then they will not stop you. I've got other friends. I know of plenty of boxers that have in the same situation as me that have got a licence, but I'm not going to start grassing them up and saying, oh, you give one to him, or why can't I have one? I've just got to bite my tongue, carry on doing what I'm doing, plodding along, and I'll get there eventually.
Do you believe, kind of, obviously we spoke 4 years ago about kind of, you know, mistakes that you'd made in your life, and you're trying to put things right in the sense of moving away from that, and like you've been told, keep your nose clean and kind of use boxing as your focal point in your life. But do you feel like there's a part of whatever that hasn't quite allowed you to do that?
Oh, definitely. Boxing is my life. I live it, breathe it all day, every day. So I don't have a mainstream job. I've got my own boxing gym. I run my own amateur club, train my own fighters. Obviously, I manage my own pros as well as training people. All I do all day, every day is boxing. I raise tens of thousands of pounds every year for charity via boxing and through boxing events. It is all I do. But there's still that little sour taste in my mouth because I've not had the opportunity to get to where I need to get to. And after the fight I had for the WBF and WBU world titles, it left me with almost as much hatred for the sport as I have love for it. So I mean, since I've become a manager and promoter, I get messages all day, every day of various matchmakers from around the world, all different countries, offering me fighters for myself and other fighters, and some of them are fantastic fighters. And I look on their box recs, and they'll say, right, what do you want? Do you want a real fight, or do you want them to come and build up a career? And I think, like, is this sport actually even real? A lot of the time, it makes me a bit sick. But I know, and I take great pleasure in the fact that I will only ever have a real fight, and I know that anyone put in front of me, I'm going to give it my all. As long as I get the opportunity to have the correct fights, then I will be there.
What can you tell us about your next potential fight? I know there's stuff you probably can't tell us because obviously our conversation is off camera, but what can you tell us about it?
Right, well, I've been put under an NDA where I'm not allowed to sort of tell you certain details, but the main details are out there. Everyone knows what's going on. Nigel Benn's having a comeback fight, and he's boxing on the 23rd of November at what used to be the NEC in Birmingham, and I'm on the undercard. The main things I'm not allowed to say is who Nigel Benn's opponent is, for obvious reasons. My opponent has been agreed. Everything's been sorted out, just yet to sign contracts, and I've got a really exciting fight. One that's gonna make me get up in the morning, go running. One that's gonna make me train, because without being rude to any of my former opponents or anyone I've boxed so far, I struggle to motivate myself to box against them, because I think, why am I boxing at this level? Why not at the higher level? But someone like this, it's going to be fantastic. He's one of my all-time favourite fighters, so I'm going to get in there with an absolute legend, and it's going to make me train my bollocks off and give him a good hiding in front of an awful lot of people.
Are you allowed to say who it is?
I am allowed to say who it is, yeah. So November 23rd, although he's old, he's still an absolute fool, so I'm going to be fighting Ricardo Mayorga. So,
okay.
Like I say, one of my favourite fighters, not necessarily on ability, but he's one of them. Joe, I've got my list of favourite fighters who I absolutely admire and adore, and then I've got a list of fighters who I love to watch, the likes of Johnny Tapia, Emmanuel Augustus, and Ricardo Mayorga is up there for obvious reasons. The geezer's an absolute lunatic, and I think I'm a bit more excited to have a press conference with him than even get in a ring with him.
Yeah, we saw the one with Mosley, so not that
precisely.
long ago.
I'm just got to keep the missus away from him.
Okay. Well, listen, that is exciting. Like I said, Mayorga's kind of, at that end of his career, and he's still going. So, listen, fair play to you, though. You're doing your thing, and you're not you could have give up by now. Yeah. And you're not.
Do you know what? It's one of them. There's a lot of times when I think, do you know what? Why do I bother? But I know in my heart of hearts, when I train properly and I work right at it, and I have fights at the right weight, I will get to a very decent level, and I won't disgrace myself. The fight for the world titles was at super middleweight. I jumped up 2 weight divisions to fight the geezer because he was ranked inside the top 20 with the IBF. And I completely schooled the geezer because I knew it was a live fight, so I worked hard for it. And the fights like that are going to be the ones that make me work hard and make me bring the crowds in and bring everyone there.
Well, listen, we'll try and catch up with you before November the 23rd, and every time we see you, just give us an update on what's going on.
Of course,
keep obviously tabs on your progress and that, but like I said, that first interview was 4 years ago, and you've just been kind of chipping away and still chipping away now, so
forever. Do you know what? Hence why I've got the gym. I'm going to be doing this till I can't no longer. Brendan Ingle, my favourite trainer of all time, said to me, I've got the style to have a very long career, and that's what I plan on doing. I plan on having a long career. I'm older than I wanted to be at the stage I am, but I've had a lot of rest as well. So I plan to be doing this for a long, long time, and then once I finish, I'm never going to walk away from boxing. That's what I'm going to be doing. So it's in my blood and in my bones, and it's all I know and all I do.
Okay, right, we're going to get back in there and tell you.
Can I just give a shout out to my sponsors?
Anyone you want, mate.
Because obviously without them, this will be even a lot harder than it is. My main #1 sponsors, Roman Cars and Coaches. Then I've got Boar Scaffolding, The Grapes Pub, RDX Sports, supplying me with all my kit and all the gloves for fights on my show. Then I've got Vanilla Rebel, make my own sort of brand of clothing and various stuff. Ringwalk Clothing also, and Boxing Bar. Fill my gym with equipment and really help out, and they're doing a massive help for me, all of my sponsors, and I really appreciate all the help.
Just a few there?
Yeah.
Alright, no problem. Tommy, thank you very much for talking to
KUGAN,
IFL TV, and no doubt we'll catch up with you really soon.
Definitely.
Top man.
The opportunity arose for him to close the show, and he did it in emphatic style.
Whatever he hits falls.